road called Pangolin. If you were with us yesterday, we had Tundi tracks on this road where she'd actually defecated right over there. Good afternoon, folks from Djuma. There he is. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful cat. He's just going to walk straight past the tracker there. Give him a little look. Not bothered though. This is definitely my favorite leopard at the moment. Oh, he got a little thorn in the face, and he's going to sit in the shade. As I said, folks, the sunlight is just starting to come out. It's time for us to apply some sun cream. And he's doing his classic normal preening, grooming behavior. He's a little drink in the mud there. And now he's in the shade. What a beautiful boy. I don't think I've seen him for about a week. Yes, I'm also very excited to see the handsome prince. It must be over a week now since I saw him with Dave when we were down at Chitwa, and we got him on the on a rover down by Chitwa Dam. And he's now come all the way back up north. Wonderful stuff. So apparently Tundi was here as well earlier. The vehicle from Djuma that's with us now was telling me that they saw both of them, and VM was saying that Hosana seems to think that Tundi is kind of like his mother. So it is quite strange behavior to see leopards hanging out together like that, but he seems to really enjoy the company of other leopards. But folks, we're going to stay here with the little prince for just a while longer, and while we do that, we're going to go across to Mr. James Henry, who wants to say hello. You're back with us, folks. Hosana's just slowly moving through the grass here. Let's see if we can get hello Rex, see if we can get another position for him. We're having some difficulties with James's signal up at Buffelshoek Dam. We just got him moving through the bushes there. We're going to try to stay with him. He's moving into the block. There's a very gentle breeze coming from sort of this side here, sort of from the west, and he's kind of moving in that direction. Whether he's hungry or not is probably a good call. A young man like that is always hungry. Ask my mother. Anyone who has a young boy at home will know that as soon as he moves out to the age of 19 or 20, your food bill goes down dramatically. There he is. Absolutely beautiful. Now, those of you, if you've seen the photo I posted on Twitter yesterday of the Birmingham boy, Nene, black and white, you'll notice how completely camouflaged he is. Completely camouflaged he is when he's black and white. And if you can do that with your screenshots now and try and put a black and white filter on that, you'll see how he disappears. So folks, we're going to see if we can reposition and keep with this beautiful cat. And while we do so, we're going to go all the way up to the Masamara with Jamie, who has something interesting. Thank you, James. Yes, we're following him. And he's moving quite deliberately, definitely with the wind coming towards him. And just at our right-hand side is a very nice termite mound with a big scotia tree that he keeps peeking into, but we can't see anything in there. Maybe he's smelling an old kill or something that might have been there at one stage. But he's still on the move, and this is kind of exciting times with these cats, is when they're moving, the temperatures are nice and cool. Rexon is still with us. He's just going around onto the road, so we're going to make another mission to see if we can get ahead of him. So stay with us, folks. This is what it's all about. Following the little prince through the bush. Sometimes we have them just sitting and lying flat. And then sometimes we get them moving like this, which is always far more exciting. He's just going to cross the road because the road here doesn't seem to mean much to him as far as the boundary is concerned. But he's definitely using the wind. Isn't that wonderful? Hold on, folks. He's such a beautiful animal. I mean, unless you see him next to another male, you wouldn't think he was small. He's already filling out quite nicely in the time I've been here. He still has a bit to go on the neck and the shoulders, but he's a very, very good-looking leopard. I think he's making his way back into the shade. The sun has just cleared through the clouds again. Just a very gentle breeze coming from the left of him. And what you often see cats doing is moving across the wind, not always directly into it, because directly into the wind, you're only going to pick up any scent that's coming directly from above you or from upwind. But if you cut across, any movement or any smell coming from that side, he's got a much better chance of locating any smell coming from sort of that periphery. They'll cut across until something of interest, and then he'll turn into that direction. See if he can pick up on that. So, folks, while we continue following the little prince, we're going to go back to Jamie, who I believe has a lovely bird. Yes, folks, well, we've been following him, and he's definitely got intention in his eyes. There's a couple male impala up ahead, and his whole body posturing has changed. You can see how low he is to the ground. They're still probably about 60 yards off, but he's slowed down, he's stopped, he's been watching them, and now he's slowly making his approach. There we go, you can just see him, he's stopped behind that bush. Look at that posture, folks. Just going to sit here and try not to disturb him anyway. It's just Rexon coming up behind us there. He's been sitting with him in the bushes. So this is awesome to be able to see the leopard stalk. Now look at that. How invisible is he from behind, folks? Can you imagine him stalking you unknowingly? It'd be quite a frightening sight. So we're just going to pull up a bit, see if we can get any of this action, but without disturbing him. He's just there, hiding in the long grass. See if we can come around him just a little bit. Hey, that's not the place. How's that, V? Is that all right? Just V, I'm just going to have to adjust the levels. I'm on a bit of a termite mount. The impala don't know that he's here. The wind is very strong in his favor. You can see by the intention, folks, that he's looking directly at something. And he looks hungry. He's almost licking his lips in anticipation. Now, I haven't spent too much time with Hosana. VM, have you seen him kill a male impala yet?
He has, but I haven't seen him.
You've seen him with the male impala. Sir asks a question, how fast can a leopard move, or how fast can it go? And I'll just get my little trusty book out here to get the calculations right. So a leopard can go at 80 to 90 kilometers an hour. That's 50 to 56 miles an hour. But that is extremely fast. But to work out the charging speed, 22 to 24 meters per second, that's 73 to 79 feet per second. That is phenomenal, folks, but it's not over a long distance, it's over quite a short distance. That's why the camouflage, the stalking, has got to get into very, very close range for a very explosive dart to then be able to jump out and catch the animal. If an impala is 20, 30 yards away and the leopard hasn't got close enough, it's very difficult for the leopard to catch them. But that's why with conditions like this, the wind is swirling. Can you see the grass around his head is moving? There's so many sounds now that are being masked by that wind that this is opportunity for leopards and lions to hunt. He's just having a look. There's about 3 or 4 male impala we saw just disappear into the thicket ahead of us. So being quite a young leopard, he might not be the most patient of leopards. And it's patience that pays off in the end. If he can use his camouflage, he can use the wind in his favor and get to that close range of about 15, 20 yards. Then explosive acceleration and then launch onto the impala. That is what would work. But that only works if the impala don't know that he's there. And by being patient is the way. Hopefully, sometimes the animals actually even come closer to him, which makes his job even easier. PT comments she loves watching his dewlap develop. Yes, he's definitely starting to develop one. But on my interview drive, I had him with Tingana, and there was a big difference in that dewlap and in the size. But just in the last 3 weeks since I've been here, I've seen a change in him. And it's so amazing to see him willing to take male impala, because that is the ultimate test of a leopard. That's when you know you've become an adult, when you're able to take down a fully grown male impala. They are very, very large in comparison. Male impala is about 60-65 kilograms. So that's about 135 pounds. That is a big animal for an animal that probably only weighs probably about the same, maybe even a little bit less. But he could eventually one day get up to the record-holding weights of 85-90 kilograms, so 180-190 pounds. That is a big leopard. But right now I wouldn't put him over 50 kilograms. Maybe 55, which is 110 or so pounds. What a magnificent specimen. Indeed, the little prince. And folks, this is all happening live. Oh, he's getting a little bit tired. It was quite a long walk. Okay, well, we're right down by Treehouse Dam. So look at that intention. He's definitely interested. That was a bird. That's what I talk about, his patience. But they are such opportunistic hunters. They will kill anything that comes across them. Be it a little bird. I think he was eyeing out a hornbill just now. Maybe more inquisitively than anything else. So folks, we're going to stay with this beautiful cat. We're probably going to reposition and get a bit more of an elevated view on the other side and see what unfolds. And while we do that, we're going to go back up to the Mara. Mr. Ralph Kirsten, I believe, is searching for bigger cats. Thanks, Jamie. I hope you don't get stuck. Lots of marshmallow awards, I believe, being awarded up there lately. None down in the Sabi Sands. We have no water. But folks, we've just come to the other side of the drainage line, and Hosana's probably moved about 30-40 meters from where we had him before. And he's now playing the very relaxed card. He's now lying down and very... There we go. The action is over. As we came around, we could see those male impala. I can actually still see one of them. They're looking very intently in this direction. We're not trying to influence it at all. We're quite sort of to the side of the scene, so we're not involved in it. So we're hoping that, no distraction is made by our presence. We obviously don't want to influence nature. Movement of the leopard, if he might need to be a little bit more cautious or a little bit more stealthy if he wants to catch a male impala. They have been around for a few more years. Bobcat Mama asks, when the leopard goes in for the kill, does it go for the throat? And yes, invariably, most of the time, leopards will jump on the animal, try pull it to the ground, and then put its, proud cat Mama, I apologize for that. It will jump on the animal. Often the strength of the animal itself, or the weight of the cat itself, will pull the impala down, and then it will try and latch on the throat. If it can't latch on the throat, sometimes they'll latch on the muzzle itself. They'll try to get somewhere to suffocate the animal and to eliminate the breathing. It's the quickest way of killing the animal, and also by choking it here or covering the mouth, the animal isn't allowed to give off this very loud distress call. And now you might ask, what is the purpose of the distress call? And there's lots of ideas out there. When an animal gets attacked, it makes this very loud bleating sound, the death bellow they call it. And they've done a lot of studies, and they've realized, because I don't know if any of you folks back home have picked up a frog or a cricket, and it's made this very loud squeaking sound, which forces you to throw it away, because it's actually quite frightening. But that bellow doesn't do that. It doesn't cause the predator to let it go. It doesn't attract its friends to come and help it, except in the case of buffalo. But often you'll see other impala will come and watch their friend being killed, which is quite sad. But one thing that it does do, and it's something that scientists have copped onto, and if they want to do censuses of predators, is they'll play on a speaker the death bellow of an animal, and you will see the lions, the hyenas, the leopards, the jackal will come running. So what it does is that bellow, that's a very good example, actually forces or causes a hyena or a lion or something else that might be in the area to come into the scene and maybe frighten a leopard off of the kill, giving that animal just that one slight opportunity of standing up and running away. So from a leopard point of view, it's very important to cause that choke, to eliminate the competition of larger predators coming in. For example, Tundi killing an impala, also a larger leopard could come in and steal it. I think we saw that with Tingana the other day. That animal was making a lot of noise. I think Tingana was at least decent enough and let her kill it first before he stole it. Maybe that was just learned behavior, didn't want the duiker to run away. But that small opportunity of that bellow can often attract, and I've seen it many times, where a leopard kills something and they're not a very experienced leopard, they're trying to kill it, but they're not doing very well, and often that animal loses it purely because of competition. So it's something to think about. But yes, cutting off the throat or the air supply is a very, very effective way of killing. And in that way, I think leopards are probably one of the most humane killers out here. Hyenas, they chase animals down if they do, and they basically bite them until the animal collapses and dies of blood loss and shock. We've seen wild dogs killing, and they just rip an animal apart. And lions, if they're on their own, will often do the suffocation, but lions in a group, I've seen many times, they just start feeding on the animal. So definitely the leopard would be the way to go if you wanted a quick death out here. Sorry to be so morbid. So folks, we're going to stay here with the little prince. It is a lovely afternoon. The clouds are keeping us nice and sheltered. As you can see, he is lying down, but we'll keep you updated. And while we do that, we're going to go back to James, who I believe is leaving Buffelshoek Dam. Thank you, Jamie. Yes, geese are fantastic parents. Probably one of the best out there. You know, such successful animals goes to show that the parenting must be good. And we finally have some action. We've been watching the prince sitting down or lying down doing nothing. Now he is scratching his head. He's yawning. He's yawning. Normally what I've noticed in my experience is once a leopard yawns, they quite often get up. And I remember always telling guests that with lions or leopards when they yawn, watch, he's going to move now. And they always used to think I was incredible and I knew everything. But it's just what they do. Scarlet, that's a very good question. She asks, at what age will he be ready for mating? I suppose he's probably ready now, but he's not dominant now. He needs to first secure a territory and exert dominance. So I don't think until at least he's 3.5. I think that's about as young or as young as he can be. But yeah, 3.5, 4. But maybe James has got a better answer for you there. He's got a lot more leopard experience than I do. But, you know, lions definitely about the age of 4, 4.5. That's kind of like their prime when they start mating. So I'd suggest leopards are quite similar in that regard. It's all about territory. If he doesn't have a territory, he's not able to compete or dominate with the more dominant male, then there will be no mating for him. And he'll keep moving until eventually he is big enough and battle-scarred and battle-hardened enough until he is able to compete for territory and thus the mating rights of females. It's important that if these cats don't have a territory and they mate, the territorial male, on finding the cubs with the female, will invariably kill them because he knows that they're not hers. So it's very important for females to have that protection from the males in the area that they're in. And if he's not dominant and he's not unable to secure a territory, he's not going to be able to assist in keeping dominant males out. Hang on, folks, I'm just being called on the radio. If you just give me one moment. Standing by. He called me, and now he doesn't have anything to say. This is WildEarth standing by. Ooh, we have a radio malfunction, Wildy. That's okay. We have got the little prince I think he wants to tell me that there are some impala up ahead, but we know that because we've been watching them. But little Prince is doing his ablutions, and he's definitely got an itchy ear. I think. Thank you, Ralph. Just something important to notice here, folks, is that even though Hosana is a busy cat, he still has time to stop and smell the flowers. That's what he was doing. Now he's eating a little bit of grass. He's not a vegetarian. Cats will often eat grass to cause them to regurgitate. From their licking and their feeding, they often get a lot of hair in their stomach. The best way to get that out is to cause themselves to vomit. And he's walking straight towards VM. But don't worry, VM is a professional. Very steady camera work. Sorry about the back of the vehicle, folks. We have no control over where he walks. You are beautiful, sir. Wow. He's very sort of close to the ground. I don't know if he can smell something, but he's walking up the dam wall now to Treehouse Dam. So I think we're going to quickly go around. As soon as VM's happy with the shot, go around and get up onto the wall and see what he's going to do. But he's probably going to go up very quietly and have a little peek, low to the ground. Look at those ears, folks. How he's changing the profile. Look at that, eh? Just like when we're hiding from our parents behind the couch, we think they can't see us when we stick our heads up. But cats have a very good ability to do that. Isn't that a wonderful shot? Oh, there we go. Screenshot that, folks. That's going to be my new profile picture. Fantastic, Hosana. Definitely my favorite leopard. I've had the best interactions with him so far. And those of you who were on drive with me that day, he graced me with his presence on my interview. He said, "Welcome to the family, Steve." And we all know that he is royalty, so that makes me a royalty. Ooh, look at the posturing, folks. I wonder if he's seen something at the dam there. We have one of the landowners going around, so he'll let us know if there's something on that side. So he'll let us know. But I think right now we've got a great visual. V, you happy? Yeah, VM's happy. He's getting this. This is fantastic. There was some impala just up on sort of the direction he's looking. Last we saw there was a few males there. It's possible after about 20 minutes or so they've dropped their guard a bit. Look at that. That is the ambush predator. Going to lie flat there. Almost invisible to anything that is in front of him. I don't think there's anything on the other side. His body language is saying so. So, folks, we're going to either stay here or reposition depending on what the wildebeest reckons. And while we do that, I'm going to go over to James for an update on Tundi. Thanks very much, Ralph and Jamie, for your contribution this afternoon. Ooh, he's been sitting so nicely for so long there. And now he's suddenly got some steam in him. Vim has been taking some amazing footage of him with the backlit. So I think it's time for us to move. We're going to see if we can catch up with him again. He's moving in the direction of those impala, but he's not doing it very casually. Well, a bit too casual for my liking. Just hold on, folks. Do our best here. He was sitting so nicely there for you. Let's see if we can get up here. The thing with these dams is they are all rather quite open in and around the dam itself. Uh-oh. That is a little tricky. Okay, you're sticking with us, folks. James is in a bit of a bad signal area, but don't worry, we'll get out of this little spot shortly. Love these little vehicles. Sorry, V, hold on. Shout for the spiny leadwood there. We have the other vehicle here from Djuma. It looks like Rex is back. We're not going to influence him here, whatever it is he's doing. And just see him through the long grass over here. We're on the road again, which is quite nice. King Faye asks, what is a leopard's preferred diet? And here in the Sabi Sands, each leopard tends to have a different selection, but they will pick on whatever they can get. Duiker, Nyala babies, Impala seems to be probably the preferred choice, purely due to their numbers. But I would say, on average, any of your small antelope, Impala being probably number one, purely just because there's so many of them. But Tundi seems to be killing lots of Duiker and lots of warthog at the moment. But the warthog are breeding, so that would be a peak now with regards to warthog babies. Leopard taking a fully grown male warthog, very tricky to do. And leopards taking fully grown adult impalas is also tricky, but they do it. Don't know if you can hear those Franklin or Spurfowl or busy alarm calling there. We're just going to sit here, folks. You don't want to influence whatever it is that he's doing. There might be some animals in the front here that we haven't seen. He's going to cross the road perfectly for us. Doesn't seem to have too much intention in his posture as he did before. But isn't that a glorious picture? He is getting so big. All the viewers back there probably have seen him from a little cub. I saw that video the other day of Watch Hosana grow. Amazing to see how he's changed in such a short period of time to become this beautiful male leopard. I'm very privileged to spend time with him, and very privileged that it's my job to show him to you. Terrible job I have. Even the girls in the FC, they get to watch this all, and we do bring them out whenever we can. It's one of the highlights of working out here, is getting to come and see these animals live. Something you should all do at some stage in your life is go on safari somewhere, get to experience the true nature of the bush and the animals moving through. There he is. The light is just perfect right now. The wind is still quite strong. He's definitely got something of interest there. He might even be stalking a Franklin. You can hear the crested. Here we go. What is that? Oh, he went for a bird, folks. He went for a bird, but he missed it. And we get the notion of these fearsome predators that just kill everything they see. And cats will catch whatever they can, if they can catch it, but they often miss. They're not, and when they're young like this, they're not very successful. But they can go for a period of time without eating, and as they get hungrier, they learn to be more and more patient. So preferred diet would be anything he can get his paws on, really. But VM says he has seen him with a fully grown male impala. Now that is the ultimate sort of prey size or prey animal for a leopard, and it's almost like getting your master's degree as a hunter. As you upgrade to that level of a big impala. Young impala are just easy pickings for leopards and lions and whatever else is feeding on meat. There we go. That's a beautiful shot. Yeah, so to go back to the comment from earlier, those jowls are definitely starting to form. If this was the first leopard you saw, you'd think it was quite a big one. So folks, please send through your questions at #SafariLive. Send your comments through. I know this is gripping stuff, but feel free to ask me questions. See what information we can come up with. I will continue to divulge all my information that comes across without boring you too much. I know you're all just on the edge of your seat like I am, just watching him move. It's just wonderful to see them move. And in the daytime with this light, awesome for the photographer. The other two vehicles I can see have got quite expensive cameras, so they must be getting amazing photos of royalty, of the little prince. So there's birds are calling, there's wood hoopers calling, the Franklins are calling, all sorts of things know that he's around, and it's quite nice to have birds and animals like that, because you can follow the movement of the leopard if you lose him by the sounds of everything basically getting absolute fright as he approaches. I mean, with an untrained eye, how difficult would that be to see? And bearing in mind, most of your prey species here only see black and white, so if he's very still and doesn't move, he is invisible, absolutely invisible. Just from the back you see the white of the tail. Okay, well, let's reposition. So we're going to reposition, see if we can get a nice angle of Hosana, and while we do so, go back to James, who I believe is driving out of his bad signal area. There, and he is almost at our southernmost boundary, and his intention seems to be directly in that direction. So we hope we can stay with him a little bit longer, but my feelings are we'll probably only be with him for another minute or two before he goes into, I think, Lower Gowrie, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Vildi? Little Gowrie, my apologies. It is below Gowrie, so below. My apologies. So we're going to try and come around some more, but I think we're going to lose him now, folks. But what a wonderful sort of time we've had following the little prince through here. This has been quite something, getting a leopard moving this much this time of day. And obviously he's very hungry. Just going to see if we can get one more look for you, folks. One more look, but the chances are he's going to be crossing. So I'm going to just cut out here quickly on this game path. Try to get onto the main road and see what we can do. So I think all of you people back home are so excited this afternoon. No questions are coming through, either because you've been on the edge of your seats or you know everything there is to know about leopards. I think it's the first, and I do think you probably know an awful lot about these cats as well. Or maybe you're just sympathetic. You don't want to ask me anything while I'm driving. You're more than welcome to. Let's see, I think he might just pop out here, folks. Here he's coming just on our right. We're now on our fire break. Can you get him there, V? He's going to the car. Just go right up behind Rexon's car there. Remember, they don't see us as a threat. If anything, they... Wendy Ma asks the question about when leopards urinate, do they urinate backwards? And yes, they urinate backwards like a big spray bottle. There he is. They'll put their bum into the tree and then just this big spray bottle coming out from behind. That is for territorial marking. When they urinate, just normal urinating, females will kind of squat down and do the typical cat urination. You can see smelling something on the grass there. All sorts of things that we would walk right past. The leopard is very attuned to. Who knows what it could be? On the tips of the grass stalks there could be a female that walked past, could be a hyena that maybe did some form of pasting there. I don't see anything visible from here, but he's definitely curbed his interest. But he's not doing any form of phlegm response. It doesn't seem to be any form of urine spraying there. Come on, Hosana, come say hello one more time for the viewers. He's such a pretty boy, isn't he? Yes. Eloise asks an interesting question. Do leopards get hay fever? And I don't think so. I mean, I've seen leopards sneezing. I don't think that's got anything to do with any fever or any sort of allergies that they might get. Sorry about the angle. V, is that all right there for you? Just get him as he crosses. He's going to... That's the main road just in front of him there, folks. So I don't think we're going to get too much more out of him. So walking through the long grass like this, I think genetically, if leopards had an allergy or things affected them like that, they were kind of sort of genetically would lose that, or it would affect them in such a way that it just is quite a hindrance to walk through. I mean, they eye level with the grass all the time. They don't have any tablets. There we go. What's he doing? Looks like the grass is definitely green on the other side, folks. That is little Gari that he's looking into. Paula asks a very interesting question. Does a scent mark smell different to the normal urinating? I think it smells the same. You can, when you walk along a road or you go along a territorial boundary, you get that very sort of Doritos smell, popcorn smell to the scent marking. But leopards, if they are territorial, they don't waste their urine on just urinating. They will always scent mark as they walk across. That's kind of the way it works. But in a youngster like this, he wouldn't be scent marking, so he'd probably just be, well, I don't know. Have you seen him scent marking? Yeah. You have, eh? So I'm sure that, but they don't waste it. It will smell the same, I would say. That's my opinion. James might have something else to add.